Hey y'all, it's Jamie Baldwin with the Fab Mommy Lifestyle, 10 minutes at 10 Pacific Standard Time. How's everyone today? Thumbs up if you're feeling great, if you're feeling amazing, throw out some hearts. All right, so here's what I'm talking about today is teaching your whole family gratitude. Thanksgiving is coming, and I know I used to think this is, I would wait until the day of Thanksgiving, and then I'd want to teach my kids to be grateful for everything. And we'd try to do it at the dinner table, and it just wouldn't work out the way I wanted. They'd be thankful for things that I was like, nah, it's kind of too materialistic for me. Or they felt entitled to whatever they were thankful for. Or they didn't have anything to be thankful for because it wasn't big enough or something like that. They didn't have that their friends had. So anyone ever have that happen? So I wanted to make sure that I touched on gratitude way before Thanksgiving came, way before that we were supposed to show it, right? And so that's been something I've kind of been implementing this whole entire year with my family. And I've got to say it's totally worked. And so I have a few things that I've done that I've used in my family, and I want to share them with you today, and I'll teach you those. So just give me some thumbs up if you think that your family could use a little attitude of gratitude, right? So, all right, so here's one of the ways that I feel like you can totally implement gratitude in your family. And here it is, ready? It starts with you. You are the one, so you need to start your own practice. You need to, maybe it looks like you have a journal by your bed, and just every day you write like 3 things in your gratitude journal, right? You have a journal. Kids are going to start asking, what's that journal? What do you write in that journal? I have like 4 different journals in my bed, next to my bed. And one of them my kids know is like my gratitude journal. One of them is my manifesting journal. One of them is just my journal. One of them is like my notes. But they ask me like, what's this one? What's this one? When they start seeing you do things, they're going to want to do it too. And so for my son, we just have like a little composition book. They're like 10 cents sometimes in September, right? And he just, right before bed, I make him write 3 things, right? And so with my daughter, I used to notice when she'd get really tired right before bed, that's when her mindset started deteriorating. And she'd be like, so-and-so doesn't like me at school. This happened today. And she'd start going into this like negative tailspin. And so that was something that I started implementing back then too, is just to kind of get them in that mindset of being grateful, of seeing the tiny, beautiful things around them, of seeing what it is we actually have here on earth that we already have that we could be grateful for, right? And here's the other thing when we do our gratitude journals is I always tell them you can't be grateful for the same thing again the next night. And so because what I was noticing, kids are kind of sneaky, they would say my house, my family, my dad, my mom, and a toy, right? And then the next day they would say like my house, my mom, my dad, my toy. And so I told them you can't have the same thing 2 nights in a row. So they had to start getting creative, and they had to think of things like, oh, I'm thankful for the glass of water that I have by my bed, things like that. And I let it go because I want them to be thankful for the tiny things. I don't want to be nitpicky or tell them they're wrong or anything like that. So just starting the tiny journal is one way that you can get your family to have gratitude, to start seeing that this is an important thing to do. So the other thing is that you need to start vocalizing it every single day. So every single day you're talking about the small things. Like this morning I walked upstairs and there had been a spill from breakfast. There was orange juice all over the floor, and someone had taken a towel and totally smeared the orange juice all over the floor. And then they left the towel there. And so when I came upstairs, instead of being upset about it, I just said, hey, thanks to whoever tried to clean up that mess. And then I just finished cleaning it up. But it just, in my mind, it set me in like a I could have been upset about it not being cleaned up all the way and the floor was still being sticky, but instead I decided to go to the positive route and just thank them, and it just made me feel better. There was like less anxiety, there was no anger, it's just a more peace and calming to your heart, right? So vocalizing it every day, vocalizing the tiny things. It could even just be like the butterflies outside, like, oh my gosh, look how many butterflies there are today. And if they don't notice them, they'll start noticing them. They'll start noticing the tiny things, okay? And so when you start vocalizing that, your kids will start vocalizing this. I'm telling you, this all starts with you. All right, and then encourage the reflection time. So that kind of goes with the journal. It's making a certain time that we actually sit and reflect what it is we're thankful for. So for instance, ours is right before bedtime, because that's when I notice that it starts deteriorating. You could do it right first thing when you wake up. I do mine first thing when I wake up. My kids do it right before they go to bed. So if you could have like a couple times throughout the day, that would be awesome. You could even have like a board in the kitchen that says like all the things you're grateful for, and people could just write it randomly. There's just different ways that you have to start implementing it throughout the day, all day long, right? It starts with you, and it doesn't just have to happen on Thanksgiving Day. All right, and then also acknowledge when they reciprocate and they express what they're grateful for without you asking. Like, make sure you notice that what they say is important, because when they feel important, they're going to try and do it again, because you just made them feel special. You just validated them. And so they want that. That's what they're craving, right? And so if you can validate that for them, they're going to do it again and more often and more and more and more. So all right, I thank you for being here today. I am so grateful for you showing up and giving me hearts and thumbs up. Did you see how I just modeled the gratitude? All right, so it is 10 minutes at 10 with Jamie Boglin here. Thanks for showing up. Make sure you can join my YouTube channel. I've got a newsletter. If you don't know how to join any of that, PM me and I can totally help you. And then also the other thing that I noticed, you can add notifications on Facebook when I go live. And so every time I go live, you can just add it as get notified, and then you get notified on your phone, and then you can pop on and watch super, super quick. So, all right. Peace out, my mamas.